everyone, it's Abby. The next part of my husband's Regency outfit is the waistcoat. I'm using ribbed 100% silk that's meant for ties. It worked really well for this. I'm also using cotton and linen for the back and lining for breathability. The silk I found matches the rest of the colors really well. I debated getting a dark colored linen for the back piece, but I've seen white for it as well, so I stuck with that. So let's get sewing. I'm using black snail pattern 122 for making the waistcoat. I lay out the interlining pieces on doubled cream cotton lawn and pin in place. I cut out those pieces. I later realized I needed extra length, but that's easy to add to the interlining. I lay out the back piece along the fold of doubled linen fabric and pin. I'll need 2 of these. I also pin the pocket and front lining pieces on doubled linen fabric. I cut those pieces out with the extra length that my tall husband needs, 3 extra inches. I've been adding the length to all of these garments even if I haven't indicated. It's needed when you're making for someone taller than the average person, such as me or my husband. I lay out 1 layer of the striped silk fabric. I need to line up the stripes, so I'm going to be cutting 1 piece at a time. I line up and pin the front pattern piece with the stripes going vertically. I also line up and pin the facing piece. I cut out those pieces. I lay the pieces right sides to right sides, line up the stripes, and cut the second piece. I lay out the welt pocket and collar pieces onto one layer of silk and pin. I cut those pieces out. I cut the welt pocket slightly wider so I can line it up better. I flip the collar piece to account for the fold and pin. I cut the second half of the piece out. I'll need 2 of these. I pin the front piece to doubled hair canvas. I cut that piece out, folding the pattern piece out of the way and cutting in along the sides where indicated for the interfacing. The collar interfacing piece indicated that it needs to be on the bias, so I place that on the bias, fold, and pin. I cut that piece out. I lay out the 2 collar pieces and place the cotton interlining on the wrong side of the silk. I pin the interfacing to the silk collar pieces. I hand baste those pieces together along all the edges. I pin the cotton interlining pieces to the wrong side of the silk front pieces. You can see I had to add a 3-inch piece to the bottom of the interlining piece. I could have cut them out again, but this won't show, so I added instead. I hand baste these pieces together. I trim the excess cotton around the edges of the silk. I lay the canvas interfacing on the wrong side of the front piece and pin in place. I fold the pattern piece where the lapel indicates and mark the line along the canvas on both sides. I then mark out pad stitching lines. Using tailoring methods, I basted along the whole canvas front to keep all the layers together. You can see this allowed me to take most of the pins out, making the front piece easier to handle. I'm going to be pad stitching the lapel. This will be on the inside, so though the stitches will show through, they are on the inside, therefore no one will see them. I pad stitch along the fold line. There are some good pad stitching tutorials out there. I'm new at this, so no expert. I watched Oral Lynn's tutorial, which explained the process really well. I'll link that in the description. I'm holding the fabric in a curve. The pad stitching will keep it that way and encourage the fabric to fold at the right spot. I fold the welt pockets in half and machine sew along one side. I basted the interfacing to the silk off camera. I trim the edge of the pocket welts. I flip those right side out and press in half. I used tailor tacks to mark where the pockets go on the front pieces and marked with pencil on the pockets. I pinned the linen pocket to the front along the markings. I hand sew the pocket to the front along the marks using a backstitch and doubled thread. I'm using the hand sewing directions for this waistcoat. I only used the machine a few times. Some of these seams could have been done with a machine, but the way a lot of it is constructed, it's easier to hand stitch. I'm sure you could use the machine to make this waistcoat as well, with a little bit of extra work. I cut along the marks for the pocket. I push the pocket through to the inside and remove the tailor tacks. I press the pocket flat. I still have tailor tacks that you can see. These are where I will be placing the Welt pocket cover. I fold the pocket in half and press. I pin the pocket along the bottom edge. I hand sew along the edge of the pocket with a running back stitch. I add another set of hand stitches around the outside of the first set, and also hand overcast the raw edges. I line up the stripes of the pocket welt and also line up along the tailor tacks and pin. I hand sew the pocket welt along the seam line. I trim the pocket welt seam and hand overcast the edge. I fold the pocket welt up and press to cover the pocket hole. I think I lined up the stripes really well. I pin the edge of the pocket welt to the front along the side. I hand stitch that along the side of the pocket welt using a small prick stitch. I keep catching the pocket and having to start over. I measure and mark seam allowances along the canvas edges of the front pieces where indicated on the pattern. I remove some basting threads and cut along all those marks I just made. I cut where needed and fold and pin the seam allowance along the edges on the inside. I clip the curves and pin along the armhole as well. I hand baste all along the folded seam allowance. I hand stitch all of the seam allowances down to the canvas or interlining, making sure to not let the stitches show on the inside. I'm using a crosshatch stitch. The Laughing Moon pattern instructions indicated this was the best stitch to use for this part. I get out the collar pieces. I pin the canvas interfacing to the collar piece and hand baste in place. I fold the seam allowance to the inside and pin along the top and sides. I baste those in place. I attach the seam allowance to the canvas interfacing using the crosshatch stitch. I pin and hand baste the front facing where indicated on the pattern. I fold under raw edges and pin the facing to the inside of the front piece along the edge. I pin the facing slightly inside the outer layer. This is so it doesn't show on the outside. When I get to the lapel, I fold this out and pin the facing along the lapel for creep. I then flip to the other side, fold the raw edges under, and pin so the lapel facing piece is slightly outside the front piece, as this will be on the outside at the fold. There is a transition spot where the fold is along the edge. I hand baste along the edges to remove the pins. I hand whip stitch the facing to the canvas along the raw edge. I pin and machine sew the back linen piece to the front, along the shoulder edges only at this point. I mark the center neck on the back piece and interfaced collar piece. I pin the collar all along the edge. It lines up with the end of the lapel. I hand stitch the collar in place through all the layers along the edge of the canvas using a back stitch and doubled thread. I trim and clip the collar seam. I press the collar seam up. I press all the edges that I've basted so far. I trim the corner edge of the collar and sew that to the collar canvas using the crosshatch stitch. I hand overcast the raw edges. I mark the center of the collar lining and color. I line up and pin the collar lining to the collar. I fold under the collar lining edges and pin slightly to the inside. I fold under the raw edges along the bottom edge of the collar lining and pin as well. I hand baste along all the collar edges. I place and pin the linen lining to the inside of the front pieces. I baste those down well inside the seam allowance. I fold under raw edges and pin, making sure the lining does not show on the outside. I clip curves where needed. I hand baste along all those edges. I hand whip stitch the lining down, making sure the stitches don't show on the outside. I now start hand whip stitching the seams down, leaving the armhole for later, again making sure my stitches don't show on the outside. I do this along all the basted seams with matching thread. I pin and machine sew the back to the front along the sides. I hand overcast those raw edges. I fold up and press the bottom hem of the back. I press in the back armhole edge as well. I clip along the curves. I fold in seam allowance and clip curves for the back lining piece. I press those seam allowances. I pin the back lining to the back along all the edges I just pressed. I hand baste along the whole back lining edge. There are a lot of basting stitches that will need to be removed at the end. I hand whip stitch the lining in place with matching thread. I hand whip stitch along the armhole now as well. I use tailor tacks to mark the buttonholes. I'm now using doubled blue thread to mark along the outside of the buttonhole. I cut the buttonhole. I now hand stitch the buttonholes, making sure to seal all the raw edges as I go. I sewed on all the buttons off camera. There's also a button and buttonhole on the inside to keep the waistcoat sitting correctly. I fold under raw edges and hand stitch the tape ties to the back where indicated on the pattern pieces. And there we go, a completed Regency silk waistcoat. Thank you for joining me today as I made my husband a silk Regency waistcoat. I think the waistcoat fits in really well with the rest of the outfit. Next up, I will be making the final piece, the tailcoat. So stay tuned. Happy sewing! Mom wants to talk to the camera, not to the little girl's face. In a minute. No bark. Okay. Right, baby. Sit. No. Here. Okay, let me sit. No. Sit. No, we've got you.